Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Turkey has suspended all trade with Israel over its offensive in Gaza, citing the worsening humanitarian tragedy in the Strip. The Turkish Trade Ministry said the measures would be in place until Israel allowed an uninterrupted and sufficient flow of aid into Gaza. Trade between the two countries was worth almost $7 billion last year. Israel's foreign minister accused Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of acting like a dictator. Israel Katz said that Mr. Erdogan was disregarding the interests of the Turkish people and businessmen and ignoring international trade agreements. He added that he had instructed the foreign ministry to find alternatives for trade with Turkey, with a focus on local production and imports from other countries. A hydroelectric dam has collapsed in southern Brazil after days of heavy rains that triggered massive flooding, killing more than 30 people. Officials say another 60 people are missing in Rio Grande do Sul state. Around 15,000 residents have fled their homes since Saturday. At least 500,000 people are without power and clean water across the state. The burst dam triggered a 6'6" wave, causing panic and further damage in the already flooded areas. The dam is located between the municipality of Cortipora and the city of Bento Gonçalves. The extreme weather has been caused by a rare combination of hotter than average temperatures, high humidity and strong winds. Myanmar's military government will no longer allow conscription-age men to travel out of the country for work, weeks after an enlisted order prompted many to try and flee. There were long queues outside foreign embassies in Yangon after hearing the news. Authorities said they would suspend all applications from men for overseas work permits. There is a large diaspora of Myanmar citizens working in other countries in Asia, and previously locals had been allowed to leave for jobs abroad. But the restrictions come as the junta battles increased opposition in the country's ongoing civil war. Liberian President Joseph Boakai has signed an executive order to establish the country's first war crimes court more than 20 years after the end of 2 civil wars which killed 250,000 people. Mr. Boakai said Liberia had endured downpours of agony. The 1989 to 2003 conflicts saw atrocities including mass killings, rape and the forced recruitment of child soldiers. Critics in Liberia have opposed the creation of the court, saying it risks reopening old wounds. One of Ireland's top universities has fined its students' union £183,000 over holding protests on campus, including pro-Palestinian demonstrations. Trinity College Dublin cited a loss of income as a result of recent blockades of the Book of Kells tourist attraction. Students have demonstrated against the university's response to the war in Gaza, as well as proposed course fee hikes and increased accommodation costs. It comes as police in the US have detained more than 2,000 people nationwide in the past fortnight at college rallies and protest camps. Sales of iPhones have fallen in almost every market across the globe. That's according to the latest results from Apple. The technology giant said overall demand for its smartphones dropped by more than 10% in the first 3 months of the year, with sales falling in every geographic region except for Europe. Apple said that overall revenues across the company declined by 4%. The company said the figures were distorted by COVID-related supply disruptions. It pledged that sales would return to growth in the months ahead. And China has launched a probe to collect samples from the far side of the moon in what is being billed a world first.
5、4、3、2、1，点火！点火！
An unmanned rocket carrying the Chang'e 6 probe blasted off from the Wenchang Space Launch Center. The 53-day mission aims to bring around 2 kilograms of lunar samples to Earth for analysis. It will try to relaunch from the side of the moon facing away from the Earth. This is described as the dark side of the moon because it is invisible from Earth, not because it does not catch the sun's rays. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.